So, no other camels here today? Just me? No. How y'all doing? I've been traveling with my friend, and I gotta say, he's a pretty good guy. He treats me well. I don't really have any complaints. He makes sure I have enough to eat. He never gives me too heavy of a load to carry, and I can carry a lot because, I'm a camel, so I can do a lot. But he's boy. I'm just going to take these off. But I'm kind of disappointed with him today. To tell you the truth, I think he's disappointed with himself because of what happened. Well, let me tell you. My he's a good guy. He like I say, he takes good care of me, and he's nice enough. People like him. I mean, he's a likable guy. It's one of those. And he's loaded. He has so much money. He inherited a lot of money, and then he was smart enough to figure out how to turn that even into more money. So he's really. He does really well, which is part of why I'm doing so well, because he can take good care of me. So he's a good guy, and he's a spiritual guy too. Not like some people. He is very devout. He prays 5 times every day, and at least. And I know often when we're traveling, I can hear him as we're walking along, and he's praying, and he talks to me too. He tells me what he thinks about God and the world and life around him. So he's a very devout guy. I know he's always careful to try to obey the rules that we live by. He's a good guy like that, and he's always looking for a way to be closer to God, which is why I think he got me in the first place, because he likes to go out into the desert, take trips out into the desert, camp out there, rest out there. So anyhow, we got to hearing about this Jesus of Nazareth guy. This guy, Jesus of Nazareth, have you heard of him? Most people have heard of him. And we heard of him. And he wanted to go hear him, so we decided we would go. We'd heard he was off in the Transjordan area, so we thought, let's go hear him. So we pack up, and we take off through the desert. It didn't take us too long, about a day and a half. And we found where Jesus was, and we spent a couple of days there with him, listening to what he had to say. And it was really, it was mind-blowing, the things he had to say. Basically, he was saying that the realm of heaven is right at hand. It's close to us. It's like it's almost here, or it is here, something like that. And it was really good to listen to it. We saw him talking to people. We saw him heal some people. I don't know how that happened, but he did it. And anyhow, so we were listening to him, but he announced that he was going to be leaving the next day for another place. So we decided my friend decided he wanted to go talk to him personally. So he went up to Jesus, and he went right up to him, and he said, "What do I have to do to inherit this eternal life that you talk about? What do I have to do?" And Jesus said this great thing. He says, "Obey the commandments." And my friend honestly said, "I've done that since I was a little kid. I've obeyed the commandments since I was little. What else do I have to do?" And Jesus said, "Well, you've only got to do one more thing. Sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and then come follow me." And I'm thinking, this is great. This is terrific. That is so easy. All he has to do is get rid of his stuff. He doesn't need any of that anyhow. Get rid of his stuff, and then Jesus said we could go with him. And most of the time when Jesus talks to people, he says, "Now go home." But he told my friend we could go with him and travel with him. And I thought, this is great. I couldn't wait to do this. I thought, this is going to be great. It would have been such an honor to carry Jesus' stuff for him as we traveled. But my friend didn't look happy. He looked gloomy. And he didn't say anything. He just turned around and walked away. He walked away. Well, I mean, he's my friend, so I followed him. But I looked back, and as I looked back, Jesus was still looking at us, but he was talking to some other people. And I heard what he said. He said, how hard it is for the rich people to get into the realm of heaven. He said, it's harder for them to do that than it is for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. Now, at first I thought it was one of those camel jokes. I hate those things. But I don't think he was joking. And look at me, I could never get through the eye of a needle. So we just kept walking. And we walked away from Jesus. And my friend doesn't seem like he's going to do what Jesus asked. He's going to hang on to his stuff. And we're going to leave Jesus behind. I don't want to do that. I want to travel with Jesus. I want to be his servant. But I'm with my friend, and I guess we're going away. And when we stopped for camp, that's why my nose is so. See, here's the thing about being a camel. I find generally that once I can get my nose in, I can get the rest of me in. You know, if we're camping and I'm cold, I just kind of push my nose into the tent. The next thing you know, I'm in the tent. And so I'm thinking that, my friend's thinking about that, and he thinks if he can just get my nose through the eye of a needle, then maybe we can be okay. So he gets a bunch of needles, and he comes out to where I was just trying to get something to eat in the pasture, and we just kept trying to get my nose through the needle. If we could just get my nose through, and all we ended up doing was stabbing each other. And I'm so sore today. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by it, but I couldn't do it. There's a lot of people who are holding on to stuff that's keeping them from following the path of Jesus. And it's all kinds of stuff. For some people, I suppose, like my friend, it's their stuff. It's their wealth that they need. And he doesn't need to hold on to that because he's a good guy and people like him. And I would stay with him even if he didn't have anything. We'd be okay. But no, he can't let go of that. And other people can't do it. There's some people who would follow Jesus except they want to hang on to some hate for somebody else or some other group. There are people who would want to follow Jesus, but they want to just be in control. They always want to be in control. They always want to be the one holding the reins, and they will not let go of the reins long enough to follow anybody else. And there are people who are addicted to something, and they can't let go of that addiction, or whatever it might be. They got to do it, and they can't let go of it and follow Jesus. And there are people who want to hold on to some old ideas they had or their old religion, and they can't think something new and follow the way of Jesus. And there are people who want revenge, and there's so many things that people say, I have to have this. I have to have this. And we don't have to have it. Well, it's easy for me to say, I'm a camel. What do I need? I need some food and I need some water. Admittedly, a lot of water. I didn't bring enough. I need a lot of water. But water's free. All you got to do is find it. So maybe it's hard for you, too, to think about letting go of something. But it sure doesn't do you any good to try to do what's impossible. As we were walking away, I heard something else that Jesus said, because I got good ears. The people that were around him were freaking out because he said it's hard for the wealthy people to get into God's realm. They were going crazy. They thought, how can that be? Rich people are favored by God. If God didn't love them and God didn't favor them, they wouldn't be rich. So the fact that they're rich means that God must love them better than the others of us, or they're somehow living a better life. But Jesus says, no. He says that you can't look at it that way. Being wealthy is a spiritual danger because it distracts you from what's most important. That's, I think, what he was saying. But when his disciples said to him, well, if even rich people can't get into heaven, who can? And Jesus said, well, it's not possible with humans, but with God anything's possible. So I guess whatever that thing is that's standing between you and God, that keeps you from measuring up to what God wants you to do, that can be taken away. God can look at you and not see that. God can draw you in. It's not up to your willpower. It's up to God's power. God will bring you into the realm of heaven. In the meantime, my friend is off in town. He's buying a bird cage. He wants to see if I can get into a bird cage. He figures if I can get into a bird cage, maybe he can get me in through the eye of a needle. It's never going to happen. As long as he's trying that way, it's not going to happen. But he's my friend, so I'll do what I can. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to a sermon by Reverend Stephen Carnahan, pastor of High Street Congregational Church in Auburn, Maine. If you feel inspired by what you hear, you're invited to join us in person for worship services every Sunday morning, starting at 10 o'clock. Of course, you can always listen to Steve's sermons on the web. New sermons are posted every Monday by midday. Please explore this website for more information about our church, or visit our Facebook page at High Street Congregational Church, UCC, where you'll find the video version of Steve's sermons as well. We hope that God's presence will be known to you every hour of every day. May God's blessings rest upon you now and always. See you next week.